Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for having me at the Quantum World Congress 2025. It's a very important platform for conversation about a very important technology in one of the leading cities, which is moving quantum forward in the world. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be able to join all of you. It is my deepest apologies that I can't be there in person as the circumstances would have it. I'm not able to travel and to come to Washington, D.C. and be with all of you. So my name is Farai Mazhandu, and my narrative here spans two continents. I am based here in the United States. I'm joining you right now from the state of Louisiana. Some of you may remember the legacy of Professor Jonathan Dowling. He definitely left very big shoes to fill in the state, and it is really an honor that I'm here teaching at the Louisiana School of Math, Science, and the Arts, which is a flagship school for motivated students in the state of Louisiana. And we are working with these future leaders and innovators, exposing them to the technologies that are constantly reshaping the world that they're growing in. And I feel privileged to be able to work with such an amazing group of students and the future leaders of our society and our communities. I'm also what brings me joy is the ability to access resources to use in quantum education, especially for K to 12, which has been an effort led through the National Quantum Initiative and the policies that support efforts in that direction. Additionally, I am the founder of the Africa Quantum Consortium, and for several years, I've collaborated with leaders across Africa to forge a sovereign, collaborative, and robust quantum future for the continent. So navigating both of these realms has provided me with what I believe is a very unique and important perspective. I've observed the intersection of established and emerging ecosystems, as well as the contrast between well-funded initiatives and grassroots effort. This experience has solidified my belief in one fundamental truth. The next significant advancement in quantum technology will not emerge from a single laboratory or a nation, but rather from the synergy of our collective ecosystems. Today, I wish to share this perspective with all of you. It's a narrative of parallel journeys, unexpected similarities, and a proposal of a collaborative framework aimed at fostering a shared and prosperous future. It is a privilege to address you at this significant event in Washington, D.C. This city does more than just develop quantum technology. It sets the standards for the entire industry, if not the entire globe, from the Nobel Prize winning initiatives at NIST to the strategic foresight demonstrated by the White House. This area is not merely an ecosystem, it serves as the command hub for America's common strategy. So today, as I stand before you, I'm also representing the continent of Africa. And I'm doing that with a clear message because I'm the founder of the consortium, I'm the lead convener, and we have hosted roundtables, and we have brought the community together and gathered input from that community. So I also want to say it clearly here and now that your strategy requires a new frontier, and that frontier is in Africa. For far too long, we have perceived the quantum race as a contest among established powers. My experience, which connects the most advanced quantum hub in the world with the fastest growing one, illustrates that this perspective is misguided. The true strategic advantage for science, security, and economic growth lies not in erecting taller barriers, but in constructing broader bridges. As part of a conversation early on today that is being hosted by the African Union through their AUDA NEPAD initiative, which was discussing one of the largest investments and projects ever done by the United States in Africa, called the Lobito Corridor, connecting Angola and Zambia. And the conversation was about building these bridges and exploring the new role that the United States is pursuing in commercial diplomacy, and how that can reshape the engagement with the continent of Africa. So the list that I can share with you is that people are excited about that, the change of narrative and the change of focus in terms of foreign policy. And it is under this framework that I present this delivery here. The next significant advancement in the field of quantum technology will arise from linking the policy and research capabilities of this region, which is the region where the White House is, the DMV region, and with the resources and the mineral resources, the natural resources, and the human resource of a continent of 1.4 billion that I'm presenting here today. This is a narrative of two ecosystems, a call to a global leadership role, and a proposition for a collaborative future. Ubuntu is a word that most of you may have heard. It is a unifier, a common theme across the whole continent. The simple words carry profound meaning to our community. And hidden in this meaning is connection, interdependence, and collective power. In Africa, innovation has never been a solitary endeavor. Breakthroughs arise from networks, collaboration, and a shared mission. I come from a very proud country called Zimbabwe. We have got the Great Zimbabwe, which is one of the most monumental projects ever carried out by mankind. And it happened long back in our history, showing that there's always been this spirit of collaboration and of ambition. So it is not new that we come back to the community today with this renewed focus on this concept of Ubuntu and leaning on it once more to drive the development of quantum technologies in our world today. So our proposition to the world is clear. A system in which no individual innovates in isolation is a system that is going to be sustainable, is a system that is going to be defensible, is a system that is going to be more impactful for humanity. So let me take you close to Africa. For too long, the continent has been seen as a latecomer to technological revolution. But in quantum, Africa is not waiting. We are building. From pockets of excellence, we are now seeing the emergence of a pan-African grid of innovation. In the South, South Africa has established itself as a continental leader coordinated by the South African Quantum Technology Initiative, or SAQT, with world-class research nodes at the institutions like the University of Witwatersrand, where I myself did my first master's degree in condensed matter physics, focusing on the applications of NV centers in Diamond for quantum information processing. The University of KwaZulu-Natal, very strong in quantum machine learning, the use of quantum computing for algorithm development, as well as Stellenbosch, which is also coming together as a very fast-growing hub, which recently officially started hosting the National Theoretical and Computational Science effort in South Africa. This strength radiating outwards with growing capacity as well, flowing into Zimbabwe, into Botswana, and across the Southern African region. In the north, a vibrant corridor of research is taking shape. Algeria's Constantine Quantum Technologies Group is winning international hackathons. Morocco is leveraging its high-performance computing capacity to build a distributed research model across multiple universities. It is actually hosting in Marrakesh next week. I think it is the 10th iteration of an event that has gathered quantum experts in Africa called the Quantum Africa Conference. And initiatives in Tunisia and Egypt are connecting their researchers to the global community with the recent, one of the largest, most successful hackathons ever hosted in Egypt, led to the Biblioteca at Alexandrina, which was well supported this year of Quantum, and is one of the events that we are very proud to see happening on the continent. And across West and East Africa, the seeds are sprouting. From Nigeria and Ghana to Kenya and Ethiopia, universities are launching new programs and forging new partnerships, like the Africa Research Universities Alliance collaboration with IBM Quantum. This is not a scattered random process. This is the dawn of Africa's quantum ecosystem. But how is this happening? Africa's journey is unique. It's not following a single playbook. It's writing its own. Its playbook has three core components working in concert. First, we have strategic top-down national initiatives. The best example is South Africa's Equitable. Their philosophy is brilliant in its pragmatism. Sidestep the competition. Instead of trying to build a quantum computer from scratch to compete with global giants, they are focusing on their strengths, developing quantum applications and software, and securing communications, a faster, more cost-effective way to create immediate impact. Second, and perhaps most uniquely, is the explosion of bottom-up community-driven networks. Groups like QWC have aggregated Q cousins across Africa and to produce what we call Q Africa, are democratizing access to quantum education through boot camps, hackathons, and online training. They are the connective tissue sparking interest and building a talent pipeline where formal curricula may not yet exist. And third, we are leveraging strategic global industry partnerships, collaborations with technology leaders like IBM and world-class educational institutions like the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, AIMS, are also playing a crucial role. They provide access to hardware, expertise, and resources, filling critical gaps and accelerating local development. This hybrid model, top-down, bottom-up, and collaborative, wasn't designed in the bottom. It is born out of necessity, and that necessity has forged a strategy that is incredibly agile, decentralized, and resilient. It is a source of immense strength for our communities. For years, these incredible efforts were happening in parallel, but to build a true continent-wide ecosystem, we needed a coordination engine, an entity to connect with the nodes, amplify the signals, and articulate a shared vision. That is why we created the Africa Quantum Consortium. The AQC's mission is built on foundational African philosophy, Ubuntu. It is often translated as I am because we are. It's a recognition that our success is fundamentally shared. This isn't just a cultural tagline, it's our strategic framework. It prioritizes collaboration over zero-sum competition. Our work is organized around 4 pillars to unify the continent's leaders through round tables. We have got a third round table happening on September 26th, and we invite all of you to come and join us. We also clarify our path. We share goals and data on these platforms when we bring people together. And we also are going to release the State of Quantum in Africa white paper in order to show the state of quantum in the continent and also share strategy on the path forward. We also participate on global fora to influence global policy so that Africa is a co-architect of the quantum future. And we also are building capacity and reaching out to stakeholders, and have got a framework under which we are creating a fund that can sustain our efforts and also fund our innovations. We recently transitioned from a grassroots movement into a legally registered Pan-African entity, ready to engage formally with partners like the African Union, and the European Union, the United States, the QWC, as well as the consortium coming around in the DMV. We're also building programs like the Quantum Circle to support women in the field and developing tools to democratize education. The AQC is Africa's commitment to ensuring our quantum journey is sovereign, self-determined, and built on a foundation of shared success. So this is bigger than competition. The reason why we need Ubuntu. It's bigger than competition. Quantum technology will decide who survives, who thrives. The world treats it like a race. Superpowers squaring off. Africa sees it as a responsibility. Responsibility to people, to planet, to the future. And the responsibility demands leadership, not rival. If you examine your hands or observe the table in front of you, Africa's power lies beneath your feet, embedded in our soil and minerals. These are not mere commodities. They represent the foundational elements of quantum devices, sensors, and qubits. For the first time, Africa is directly connecting these resources to innovation. The hardware of the future will be African. History has imparted a harsh lesson. Africa has supplied raw materials while others have processed and profited from them. This cycle must end. The next era belongs to us. We are sending the value chain, engaging in processing, manufacturing, and innovation. The synergy of minerals and local scientific expertise will foster strategic independence. As the philosophy of Ubuntu teaches us, we rise together and together we reclaim what is rightfully ours. And we call on unity to make this happen. If we develop quantum at home in Africa, then we fix many of the problems that we are bothered by today, that brings our communities together to fight poverty, to fight hunger, to fight inequities. All those things can be solved by supporting the innovation and development back at home in Africa. For years, talent has been leaving the continent. It was framed as a loss, but we don't see it that way. Our people are in the world's top labs, research and development, and venture networks. Ubuntu allows us to turn geographic dispersion into a strategic advantage. A global network tethered back to Africa. We recently hosted the event of the FEDA at the IEEE Quantum Week, and we showcased our plan on how to connect the diaspora back to Africa. And we've got some good feedback from the community, and we are going to be working on some of these initiatives and putting some solid steps down. Picture a student in Lagos learning quantum computing, connected in real time to a top researcher in Boston, getting mentorship, funding from Cape Town, mentorship from London, and further opportunities for education in the United States. This is Ubuntu in action, turning loss into leverage, isolation into connection, brain drain into brain gain, and Africa, in that case, it doesn't become a follower anymore. It also participates and leads with others, and begins to help reshape the conversation towards driving outputs for impact for all of humanity. So this is our call. I am someone who has been shaped by the incredible environment at the Colorado School of Mines here in the US, and someone who's dedicated to building a quantum future in Africa. I see potential of this partnership where we work with Connected DMV and other partners, QWC, and we naturally extend what has been a personal journey to me, being a product of these very capable ecosystems. I propose 3 concrete steps. First, a joint workshop, a workforce and mentorship program, formally linking Africa Quantum Consortium's talent networks like the Quantum Circle with the Connected DMV and other ecosystem developers within the US. Second, an open source education alliance, connecting K-12 vocational quantum curricula, building resources for educators, like QCamp, which is hosted here to equip teachers. We could scale that back in Africa. We also have a project we call Lab in a Sphere, in which we can use an artifact of a qubit that has been made by locally using local materials to help foster education and drive conversation. And third, ecosystem policy roundtable, where we bring our communities together and we explore together, we talk about what we can do together with all these consortia that are coming together in the US, including through the QWC. And we can also get to engage governmental bodies, STEM development organizations, and international development partners like the World Bank, as well as the African Union, and the US Development Administration, and others that are working in that regard. These are not just ideas, they are actionable first steps to building a bridge between our ecosystems. Let me be unequivocal. Africa is not offering fragments of value and opportunity for recognition. We are simply saying there's a framework around which we can come together and build quantum so that it becomes impactful and it can have lasting impact for humanity, or it can have meaningful impact for the whole of our people across the world. So we are not only proposing these things on paper, with the things that we are doing on the ground, like I mentioned, and we call up on the community that is here, leaders who are here, to help us translate this vision into reality, tell us where the gaps are, tell us, the blind spots that we have. We can also, exchange the way that we see the world and how we see quantum unfolding on the continent. And together we can discover a framework that works for humanity, a framework that works for a sustainable future for quantum. With this, I thank you so much.